Hi, I'm Blythe Stevens, Bliss Catalyst and founder of Blythe Coach, dance education and coaching to move through life with balance, grace, and power. I hope you're having a wonderful summer, and today's yoga practice is inspired by the birds of summer. I find that in summer, when I'm spending more time outside, I have more opportunities to look up and see the clouds and the weather and all of the beautiful birds that are dancing about in the sky. Today's practice is inspired by the soaring, flying, and other movements of birds, as well as the yoga poses that are named after birds. So find a comfortable seat if you haven't already. I'm sitting on a yoga block, or you can sit directly on the floor or on a cushion or even on a chair and make good contact between the sit bones and that which is supporting you. You may wish to take a couple of rolls of the shoulders up, back, and down to release any extra tension in your wings, as well as a couple of gentle rolls of the head in each direction. And then just settle in for a brief visualization. We'll bring our attention to the breath as it flows naturally in and out of the nose. Notice where you sense the breath. Is it there, the nostrils, or further back in the throat, or in the movements of the chest, the ribs, the belly? There's no right or wrong. We're just noticing the sensation and how the breath flowing automatically impacts our posture, the shape of the body, and the way the energy is flowing through the body. So we'll think about the flow of the breath like we think of the air currents or the wind patterns. So constant movement. And we are in the stream of that wind, of that breath, riding along it, moving through it, flowing with it. And then with our next inhale, we're going to picture how our wings as a bird would start with our core. So from our center musculature and the architecture of our body into where our arms are connected or our wings are connected on the body through the shoulder blades, through the collarbones, the whole upper body connection. And we're going to ride the next wave of our inhalation with the wings, with the arms floating, reaching out and up. And then we're going to sink back down with exhalation, allowing the arms or the wings to come back down. And we'll do 2 more breath cycles like that, following the natural tempo. So we don't need to make it longer, shorter, or change it. Just follow your own breath tempo to rise, and then again to fall, to sink. With the next inhalation, we'll once again bring both arms, both wings overhead, and this time we'll lean to one side, so lengthen even more through one side as we bring one hand down, onto the floor and reach out through the other arm. Push off like we're leaning into a turn as we fly, as we soar. We need to lean in as we arc through the air. And then we'll repeat that on both sides, reaching up and then out, over. And up and out and over to the other side. With our next round, we'll follow our breath into a twist. So we're turning our head and gazing over one shoulder as the whole spine reaches into a twist. Then we'll unwind through the center and reverse the direction of our twist. Birds often have very flexible necks. They're able to turn their heads far over to gaze in one direction and then look at another. And then after that, we'll come back through the center and allow the arms to sink back down onto our thighs. Now we're going to take just the arm position from our eagle pose. It's a very twisted and wrapped position that provides a nice stretch to the muscles while also engaging us. So we'll reach our arms out to the side again like wings and then take one under the other. So I'm going to take the right underneath the left. We'll take our elbows together, and there's a couple variations we want to try. First, we'll just wrap the arms around the body towards our scapulas, towards our shoulder blades, and feel the length in our spine. And in that hug shape, we'll bring the elbows up and down. And we can also take them left and right. Gorgeous. For some, this is the best position for our eagle arms. If the arms and the body allow it, we can also perhaps bring the backs of the hands towards one another. So, and then we can bring the elbows up and down again and side to side. If we have that range of motion accessible to us, we can further wrap the hands so that the palm of one hand is meeting the fingers of the other. We're pressing them against one another, right against left. And then reach the elbows out from our center. And again, come up and down. Continuing to follow the breath as we move. And then left and right. Yes, get some nice range of motion in our shoulders. Gorgeous. Then we'll unwind and take the other direction. So this time my left arm is underneath, my right is on top. I'll reach around as far as I can around my body. And take the elbows up and down, side to side, whichever version of the eagle arms you'd like to. Up and down, and side to side. What a lovely self-massage for our arms and shoulder blades. And release. We can also shake them out, massage them out. Give yourself the tender, loving care that you so deserve. And next, we will come to a reclining position on the floor. So shift over and roll through the spine or come onto the back. And we'll try our eagle pose reclining, which I find to be a really effective core exercise. So we'll roll back onto the reclining position. And for a moment, bring our knees towards the chest. And we can rock side to side, forward and back, make some circles. That will feel good as a self-massage on the lower back and hips. Great. Now we'll bring the feet down to the floor. And we'll start with the leg position and then add the arms on top. So I'm going to cross one leg over the other, crossing the thigh and the knee. And just like with the arm position, perhaps this cross-legged position is our bottom part of our eagle. Our eagle is standing on a branch, looking far and wide. So perhaps you'll have a crossed leg, perhaps it will wrap further. It just depends on what's accessible to you, and both are effective. My right thigh is on top. I'll take my right arm on the bottom. Again, either wrapping the arms around or continuing to spiral them together. And with my inhale, I'll reach the hands and feet apart from each other, up and down. On the exhale, I'll bring the knees towards the arms and the arms towards the knees. We can bring the elbows maybe touch the knees, although that's not a requirement. But we're maintaining contact of the lower back on the ground. So imagine that we're standing and the back is pressing against a wall. Whole back contacting both sides of the hips, the spine. Just 2 to 4 of these is usually enough on each side. You can do as many as you like, and then unravel, let it shake out, unwind, decompress. Notice the difference between the sides of the body, and then we'll take the reverse of that. So I'll cross the other leg, my left leg on top, and either stay here, or if I can snake that foot around further, that can be fun. Pressing both sides of the rib cage, both hips, the whole lower back down onto the floor. And then I won't open my legs and arms any further than I can keep contact and control through my core. So left leg's on top. I'll take my left arm on the bottom. Inhale. Spreading. Exhale. Contracting. And then unraveling there. Whew, that one's very effective. I feel so much warmer already. So we can take a pause with the feet on the floor and just enjoy that rush of energy, that glow that we're already creating. And this birds of summer, or summer birds. Our next shape will be a couple different variations of pigeon. So there's double pigeon, half pigeon, this pigeon, that pigeon. But pigeon essentially is a wonderful hip and lower back opener, although it affects many parts of the body. And it all starts out with a rotation, an external rotation of one leg and maintaining neutral or parallel, so not externally rotated on the other leg. So one form in which we create a pigeon-like leg is our number 4 stretch, or through the keyhole stretch. So I've taken my right leg over the top, ankle crosses over my left thigh, then I'll bring that left leg up and either reach behind the thigh or in front of the shin, whatever feels good to you. And then I'm going to allow gravity to help me. So set my head back down on the floor, allow both shoulders to fall earthward. I can draw the shape in towards me more using the muscular effort of my arm, but I can also just allow gravitational pull to deepen the stretch over time. So I feel a stretch in the belly of the hip muscle. Maybe it's spreading into the thigh, into the lower back. And then we'll release that number 4 or keyhole stretch on that side. And then bring the other one over, the left leg on top. You can try this with flexed feet or pointed feet. I find that flexed makes it feel really strong and stable for me, but that's yogi's choice on this position. Then I'll thread one arm in the middle and one on the outside to reach behind my right thigh or in front of my right shin. And then once again, I can play with drawing it towards me using muscular effort or just allowing gravity to pull. If it feels good to you, you can also rock a bit side to side here. It changes our stretch and sensations a bit. And then we'll just continue to breathe here again, imagining the currents of the air and movement of the wind. Perhaps we're actually hearing or feeling the movement of the wind on our skin, which is another beautiful thing. In summer, when it's warmer, we're able to feel those warm breezes on our body. As we walk or perhaps bicycle around, go hiking, it feels so good. And release that first version of pigeon. Let's roll onto our side and come on up for a moment to all fours. Or if you can, reach the floor with the heels. It is all good here. We're just going to do a playful rock and roll into crow pose. So with keeping a bit of a soft bend in the elbows, we're activating our muscles, but they don't need to be completely locked out or stiff. We are riding those currents of air flexibly like a bird. First, we'll lift our hips up as high as we can to place the knees up towards the armpit on the upper part of the arm. And experiment with placing our weight there without balancing yet. So we'll rock in and out like a child experimenting with this crow. We'll rock in and then rock out. We're always rocking out. Rock in and then rock out. And then if you're ready to take your crow to the next stage or your experienced crow pose yogi, then we can take one foot off and then the other, or we can float our feet up onto a block and play from there. And perhaps experience the exhilaration of flying, of soaring here in crow. Wonderful. Try that a few times and then we'll come out of the pose and walk our way into a downward dog, walking through the feet right and left and right and left. And sinking the heels down, pressing through our outstretched fingers and the palms of the hand, the balls of the feet and the heels, to send our hips up into the air as far as we can. And then we'll either walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet, or a little bit of both, into a forward fold, standing forward fold. And we'll slowly roll our way up vertebra for vertebra up to a standing mountain pose. I'm going to face you for our standing eagle pose, and then we'll come back down to the floor for one more pigeon pose to stretch, and that will be our birds of summer practice. So shifting the weight onto one foot, you can also use a block underneath this lifted foot. At first, we're just going to play, bringing the leg up and down into a one-legged balance shape. Great. Then, it doesn't matter the degree of lift that you have on that lifted leg, we're just going to bring it right across the standing leg and then bend in that standing leg. Again, just as on the floor, we have choices here. Either to cross the leg, we can even set the toes down if they reach, or again onto a block there. Or perhaps that leg can wind further. And then we'll sit just as deeply as we can in that eagle. Woo, and then we can see me adjusting my balance. All the muscles are working to draw in towards the center like a hug as I reach my arms out to the sides and bring one arm under. Again, that might be a hug or a further wound position. Woo! Super fun to navigate that balance, just like we're standing on that branch as an eagle overlooking the landscape from above, scanning, sitting deeper, stronger, more stable. And then unwind to come out. Not my most controlled dismount, but hey, I'm not in the Olympics, so it's all good. Just doing the best we can. And then we'll give it a little shake. Maybe we want to shake our tail feathers. Another bird idea. Shake your birdie tail, your little duck butt in the water. Shake it out. And then we'll play with establishing our balance on the other leg. So find a stable base of support, like that eagle's claw wrapped around the branch of the tree. Super connected down below. And then we'll lift up and cross, bending our standing leg, and then finding the variation that is most accessible to you today to sink a little deeper into the pose. I love filming videos in the mornings. What I notice is my balance is not yet established, so you really get to see the real struggle. Play, experimentation. Consider it like research, where we're just finding out what works, doesn't work, what's the state of the body today. Remaining curious and open and positive. The whole process, whatever it looks like for you today, is just perfect. Sitting a little deeper into that eagle pose. Feel the work in our core, how it's connecting all the pieces and parts of the body together. And then we'll come on out. Oh, stronger on that side. Wonderful. Shake it out, shake it out. So I'm going to face this way again, and again, either walk the hands out or the feet out, or both, into my downward facing dog. Enjoy the downward facing dog as a break, as a pause moment to cool off after that very warming eagle pose. Or you could also take a child's pose like this, with wide legs or narrow, as the same sort of break. Sensing the breath again, reconnecting to the air's currents. And then either from the downward facing dog or from all fours, we'll send the right leg out long. And then bend the knee and bring it forward. So I'm actually going to bring that leg down onto the floor already into this lungy type of position. The back leg, the left leg, is going to stay parallel or turned in, so the toes and the knee facing down towards the floor, and then I'll rotate the right bent leg out to whatever degree I like. And then maybe I'll slide back, slide forward, find what is comfy in my pigeon for today. So I've got the top of my foot flat on the floor and the back knee, and then the front leg rotated out to whatever degree. And then I'll puff up my chest like a proud pigeon. So you can see how the back extended leg is my tail. And then I'll puff up my pigeon chest, or like a robin red breast, really full and round breath. And then I'll sink down onto the forearms, perhaps bringing a block with me to rest my head onto, or you could also make a pillow out of the fists or the hands. Letting the belly be soft now and fall onto the front leg towards the floor. You can feel how as I breathe, my belly is pressing into the front ankle and heel. And my back puffs up, and then as I exhale, everything shrinks and sinks. Sleepy pigeon. If you like, you can also use some props in this position. For example, a block here underneath the hip, or another one here on the other side, or a rolled blanket or a towel. You can make yourself a nice little bird's nest for your pigeon pose, and it can be more of a restorative pose. If we use our props to support us, maybe we can stay there a little bit longer, linger and breathe, and enjoy the fullness of that stretch as long as you like. But for today, we're going to come on back out, so either through all fours and or through our downward facing dog. This time reaching the left leg up and back, bringing it forward, rotating it out while keeping the right extended leg turned in parallel. Descending the hips down into our pigeon shape and puffing the chest up. Proud, proud bird. And whenever you're ready, sinking deeper to whatever degree you like into the stretch. So to show you on the other side, I have been enjoying using a block under the hip lately. It doesn't actually change the depth of my stretch. The shape is pretty much the same, but it feels more supported and secure. Like I said, like a cozy little nest. I've got something coming to meet me, like the floor rising to meet me, and here I've made the floor rise to meet me a little even more. And it's just lovely, really great stretch. For dancers, for ballet dancers, we're using these external hip muscles so much, but also for those of us who've been sitting a lot recently or forever. It's nice to loosen up and release a bit in the hips and back. Soft belly. We can sense wherever feels a bit tense or stressed and sort of send that wind, send that warm breath, that air current to the tight places and allow them to soften just a little bit more. On this side, as I take my block out or come out of the pose, I'm going to sink over onto that left hip and swing the leg back around to the front and meet you all back in my cross-legged sit. And here we will check in once again with eyes closed if you like, or a soft focus, so we can bring the focus internally to the state of the body. As we've soared and flown and stretched through our bird poses today, let's notice what has taken place in the body. How does it feel now? And also take a moment to acknowledge ourselves for showing up on the mat for this practice, for trying out some of the bird-themed poses of yoga. Thanks so much for joining me for this practice. If you did like it, go ahead and let me know through liking the video, and also in the comments below, let me know what you'd like to see more of in the future. Until then, I'll see you next time.